Welcome to UK Business Show. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions, helping business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, UK Kachidori.
Welcome back. Now, if you're a business owner and you've been wondering on how you can have a great start when it comes to financial planning and financial aspects of your business, today I've got a very special guest on the show. In fact, if you want to have the guidance in this complex world of financial planning, you want to have somebody like Randy talk to you, and that's what we have here for you today. Randy, thank you so much for joining us here.
Great, thanks for having me. Just excited to be here.
Incredible. Now, Randy Cohen is a financial advisor and a chartered retirement planning counselor with IHT Wealth Management. Randy focuses on retirement planning and education planning with emphasis on establishing good investment and cash flow discipline. Randy lives in Chicago, Illinois, with his wife, 3 sons, and a golden retriever. That's incredible. Randy, thank you again for joining us here on the show today.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Incredible. Now, for those who have never came across your work, would you just give us a snapshot of who Randy is, what you've done in the past, and what you specialize in helping business owners, which you always do?
Right. So I've been doing this now for almost 25 years. And what we do really is, especially when it comes to business owners are successful because they focus on their business. And I know that certainly from all of your previous guests and certainly work people that you talk to. And what I do is I help them work through the rest of the information that they really need to make sure gets done. So really, when it comes to their successful businesses, a lot of the things that they need to think about is saving for their retirement, building bigger assets, and overall nest eggs that they need. Not to mention their own personal pieces, such as educating their family and educating their children, and potentially even leaving legacies beyond their lives. So that's really where I come in to deal with the individual business owner and work with them to work out the financial issue when it comes to how to work their savings. Because a lot of people just don't, they're too bogged down in the day-to-day of their business to many times think through exactly how to make their money work for them for the longer term.
Incredible. And I know you've been doing this for the last 25 years, and you've worked with business from different range, and you've helped so many people. Now, do you have any examples of type of business owners you've worked with and some results you've produced for them?
Sure. So I've been very blessed to have worked with some incredible people over the years that I still work with. I worked with, for example, one of my favorite stories is I worked with a veterinarian in South Carolina who, for example, started his business and with just a few doctors and as his business has grown, we've set up retirement plans and worked with many of the doctors to work on their retirement plans. And so the company has their retirement plans. The business is now working on their third location, multiple different veterinarians and staff people. And so it's just a lot of exciting things going on with he as an individual, where he's been able to put aside money for his retirement, of course, and but also for his children, and to put money aside for their education so that when they are getting to the point as they're about to be in, I think they're in they're in high school now, so about to get into that next level of higher education. They'll have the money to go ahead and do those college plans without worrying about the current incredible rising costs of college education because their father's already put away all that money up until now.
Incredible. Again, Randy, we are so appreciative of you joining us. And if you're just listening, we're going to have a 2-session with Randy. Here we're talking about the financial aspect of your business. And today's interview specifically, we've entitled it The Myths and Misconceptions Around Saving and Investing in your financial planning. And then Randy is going to come back on the show and talk to you as a business owner on the step-by-step, or the how do you get started working with a financial advisor, what to look out for. And that is in the next episode we are going to be covering again. So you want to stay tuned and come back and get to hear more about that. Randy, let's dive into it around the myths and the misconception around savings and investing that you've come across in helping thousands of people really over the years. Randy, my first set of questions is this: what is the number one myth around this subject that you've come across?
I'd say the number one myth is you have to have a lot of money to save a lot of money.
Right.
And what I mean by that is that everyone thinks you have to start big. And just like we learn when we're young, we sort of forget those ideas when we get older. And certainly from a business owner perspective, is that especially on business owner perspective, and many of us in our own homes, we can always find something to do with a couple of dollars here or a couple of dollars there. And so what the biggest misconception that I find is that if I don't have a couple of $1,000s a month to put away, then it just doesn't make sense for me to save. And the reality is that the power of compounding over time is starting early, and it's putting money aside every month. Sometimes if it has to be every quarter, whatever it may be, depending on whatever your lifestyle is. But the misconception is that if I don't do it big, the go big or go home kind of thing. If I don't do it big in big dollars, then it's not going to be successful. And the reality is that it's about the discipline, not about the dollars. And so if we get started and you put a little bit of money away here, it's like we teach our children, is start putting a little bit away. We don't expect our children to put big dollars away, but we teach them early. If we're teaching them financial management, we can teach them a little bit about, if you go out and you make some money. I have my middle son is out right now, not as we speak, but this time of year, he's out, believe it or not, clearing snow from the neighbors. And as he's been making money every time there's a big snow around the neighborhood, we talk to him about putting money away. I mean, he's 12, so he loves to spend money. But we talked to him about putting some of that money away, and that's really the misconception that we need to draw on, is that put a little bit away. Because if you can put a little bit away, even if that's all you can do, you can make a big difference over time.
Absolutely. I love the fact that it's all about discipline than the amount of dollars that you're putting away. Now, why is it important that people get started earlier on?
Right. So the idea of getting started early is really twofold. Number one, it's just plain and simple. The longer that you have to get your money working for you, the better it is. So just the power of compounding works for you. Right. And so that's a big piece of it. But again, going back to what you just stated, it's about the discipline. The earlier we start our routines, the earlier we start our habits, the better off we are. Is that you'll find many people who, when they were young entrepreneurs or even younger than that, if they saved money every week or every month or every year, they're really not apt to break that chain as they get older. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of very idiosyncratic habits that it drives me crazy if I go through a day and I don't get to do that particular habit. And so I think there's the idea of discipline, of getting that savings rate early and get it set, that it makes a big difference. And then, of course, like I said, the financial math just works better when you get to do it early.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, for those who have fallen into this trap or this myth that, they have to have a lot of money to start saving or to look at financial planning, what would you say to them at such a state?
So if you're stuck in the mud with the idea of that I just can't save unless I can save big, it's just simple as we dig into their budget. And if their budget says that they can put away $100 a month, let's just work with good round, easy numbers. If we've got people that are saying, I can't save, but I can put, but you can look at the idea. And of course, you've seen all the different studies and things done about the idea of how much people spend, and I'm not going to knock coffee, but how much people spend on the expensive coffees every day, or how much people spend on going out to eat every day. And these are all great things. I'm certainly not judging anyone if they drink coffee every day or and go out to eat often, because I have plenty of people I know that do that. But you look at what if you need to, what you can sort of look back and say, maybe I can do a little bit less of that and just save $50 or $100 a month that I didn't have before. But it's got to be put away. You got to put it somewhere where you can't get to it, because if you put it somewhere that you can easily access it, then you're going to go get it. It's just, we're human. We're like that. And it's that next time where I've got a special occasion and I want to go out, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, I'm going to pull that money. So the answer that I would give you is to someone who's stuck in the mud and not able to do it is to just take that first step. You've got to really just say, look, let's start putting money away, and let's start. I always tell everyone to start small. Let's not start to the point, because if you start large and have to cut back, that's damaging to the psyche. I'd rather be successful with small little steps and small little goals, and build on those, and then go from there and to turn that and say, okay, well, we're doing $25 a week. Let's do $50 a week, because 25 didn't hurt. Let's do 50. And can that work? And we evaluate and say, okay, yeah, it seems like I can work. 25 didn't hurt, so let's try 50. And then you just build up. So again, it is a process. It's not a one-time thing. But it is, again, just something you have to get started on.
Incredible. What I love about the show today is when we come back next time, we're going to be sharing with you as a business owner or as an individual how you can actually begin to do these things, and how you can be working with a financial advisor. Because oftentimes, if you are just told go do it, you won't be able to do it. That's why we've got Randy Cohen here today, and to talk about the myths surrounding this subject. And then on the next episode, again, we'll be looking at how you can get started, the necessary step by step. Randy, back to you. Now that we've demystified the very first myth, what, in your opinion, and as a result of working with a lot of people, is another misconception that business owners have around savings and the investing discipline?
I think that the other misconception is that I guess that it works along both directions, right? And again, over the last couple of weeks and months, you can see an easy way, right? So we've got a lot of studies, economic studies, and surveys that have come out recently talking about optimism, right? Optimism is always after a long, prolonged period of great returns in the stock market, for example. That's when optimism comes, right? So I think that one of the other myths that's out there is that if the market has gone up, but it can't go up any further. If the market's gone down, it's always a bargain. And I think that the idea is that either myself, the financial advisor, or anyone really can tell you exactly where the market's going at any given time. And I think that's a myth that people just don't understand, is that the direction of the market is very hard to predict in any short period of time, and that's really the key. Is the short periods of time are very difficult to predict direction. I think that the myth is that we can always tell how I can time when I can get in and when I can get out. Right.
Incredible. So what is the actual reality if we think that is a misconception?
So the actual reality is that, again, no one can really tell you where the market's going on any given day. I started in my career by doing a lot of very short-term transactions, buying and selling within a day or two, which, of course, by the end of the 90s was a long period of time, right? By the end of the 1990s, long term was a couple of days because people started to get involved in day trading and things like that. And then over the years that I've been working with my clients that have really gotten the idea of more of a long-term perspective on things, the long-term perspective brings about the idea that it's really all about the goal, about what you're trying to achieve. And so from the idea of what the myth of being able to understand the exact direction of the market at any given time is that the short periods of time in the market rarely will affect your goals. And that's really the answer to that myth, is that if you need something tomorrow, or even let's be more realistic, if you need something from your investments within the next 3 to 6 months, then you need to be a lot more conservative with your money. And the answer, more likely than not, is that you're not going to be properly, you're not going to have a proper risk scenario if you put it into the stock market, because no one can tell you what the stock market's going to do in the next 3 to 6 months. But you've got, if you're out there and you're in your 40s or you're in your 50s and you're looking to put together a plan for retirement come your 60s and 70s, now you've got the 10 to 20 years out there, and sometimes even more. The earlier you start, if you can start in your 20s, what an amazing thing. Some of the people I work with, I love dealing with people right out of college as they start getting their jobs together, because they literally have, potentially 40 years of growth of their savings. And so it's an exciting time period. But so the myth is should really be debunked in the idea that what's going to happen in the next couple of months really is going to affect my retirement. Unless you're going to retire in the next year, it probably will not affect your retirement.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, for those who probably falling into that trap that you've just explained, what should they do, or maybe action they should take to put things right again?
So I guess the prime thing that we all look to do with everybody is we like to have everyone sit down and really think about what your goals are. Right? Most people, when they sit down with a financial advisor, they sit there and they say, "Oh, my goal, that's simple. Why would I be here? All I want to do is make money." Well, that's not really the case, right? Most of the time, what we try to get people to do is to be a little bit more quantitative about what you really want to do. I have clients that want to retire at 55, and I have clients that want to work until they, or until they as they say, go out in a pine box. I have, it's becoming, the generations are more or different. So really it comes down to goals. You have children, you want them to be able to go to higher education institutions without having to take out any debt or without having for them to have a job. And then I have some people who say, you know what, I had to work through college. I want my kids to work through college, so I don't need to save for college for them. I think they're going to go where they're going to go. I have, so the goals themselves are really the key. Everything starts and comes back to the goals. And so that's what the advice that I would give to anyone is: sit down and quantify your goals. And I don't necessarily mean dollars and cents, but really get an idea of what makes you happy. What do you do this all? What do you do all this for? Especially the business owners we talk to, entrepreneurs. These people put their blood, sweat, and tears into their businesses. Why do they do that?
Right.
It's certainly not, he who dies with the most toys wins. Some people it is, right? But in most cases, that's really where we focus on, is the idea of putting some goals down and let's figure out how to reach those goals.
Incredible. Randy, as we are nearing toward the end of our first session here with us, is there anything that I haven't asked you around the myths and misconception that you really want to put across to people so that they begin to have the right mindset when it comes to savings, investment, and financial planning?
Yeah, I think that the questions we've gone through have been great. I think that the key to successful financial planning is really knowing a little bit about yourself. Right. And that's really the key to it, because I think that we live in a society that is always looking out as opposed to looking in, is to see what my neighbors are doing, what my friends are doing, what they have, what they want. Everyone is so unique in their desires. Like I said, some people want to travel the world, and some people want to sit on a beach. And those retirement plans vary differently. Some people want to leave a legacy to their children, and some people want to leave a legacy to their community. Again, very different outcomes. And so I think that the biggest key that I would say is that in really getting started with your financial plan, know yourself, know what you're looking for, and really know how you want to be able to measure that going forward as to how am I doing versus my goals. Not how am I doing versus what the guy on TV tells me the market did today, because he's not talking to you.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Randy, thank you for that. Now, we never like to finish our time here together without talking to you as a business owner. We know you do this as a business owner, and many of the people listening, they may be in different areas, but we as business owners face similar challenges, so to speak. So just to find out more about you, how did you actually get so interested in the financial planning? What got you going in this direction?
Right. So I started this long time ago when I was 13 years old, and I got my first stocks.
Right.
And I use this as recommendations for many of my clients, but it's the idea of, not because I think that every client should have children that are becoming financial advisors, but because I think that people need to have some understanding of what goes on in the financial world. And so I started back in those days. I got shares of, when I was 13 years old, I got shares of AT&T, I got shares of Microsoft, I got shares of Disney. All companies that I knew something about, all companies that I could follow and see how they went, how they go. And over the years, I followed those. I kept in touch with all those. And then just as I grew and looking for a career, something that interested me was the idea of helping people through making their lives better with finance, right? Which is really what I do. I think that a lot of people think that when you're in helping people invest, all you're really doing is looking at their dollars and cents, and that's really not what we do. And I think hopefully we've gotten a little bit of that over in the last few minutes. But the idea is what we're really trying to do is to help people achieve their hopes and dreams. Reality is, for many people, that requires financial planning. For most people, that requires financial planning, at least some sort of planning, and usually that involves finance. So yeah, I started many years ago following it, and as I learned and more about it, it fascinates me what people want to do with their money, what people can do with their money, and how we can, as advisors, help people make their lives better and the lives around them better by helping them grow their money to the levels that they wish it to be.
Incredible. Now, would you say your success, having worked with so many different people, was an overnight, or is something that you had to consistently work at it?
I work at it all the time. And it's funny because I'll be speaking to a group of high school kids later this week. And I'll be speaking to them just in general. And this morning, as I was thinking about our meeting and listening to, had listened to some of your podcasts, I listen to other podcasts on a regular basis. I read incessantly, books about finance, books about entrepreneurs, books about, all different. I'm reading 2 or 3 books at a time, which of course makes my brain a little jumbled sometimes. But it's from a standpoint of, if you are not learning something all the time, and this is the first question I'm going to ask my high school kids this week, actually. It's funny you asked the question, is that exact question, is that, are you doing something to make yourself better every day? I had this conversation with my oldest son just last week. I said, the plain and simple of it is that if you're not doing something to make yourself better every day, what have you really accomplished today? And so from a standpoint of listening to podcasts, the resources that are available to us today are amazing. The podcasts, the emails, blogs, the books that are out there right now. I unfortunately, I also have a bad habit of I'll read about a book and I'll order it. So this morning I was reading another piece, and I read about a book of 600 pages of other people's successes, other people's successful habits. Of course, before I was done reading the article, I had ordered it, and it's on its way to me. It'll be here Thursday. Yes, I think that you always have to be driven to make yourself better every day, and that doesn't mean kill yourself over it, but just make yourself, as I told my son, make yourself 1% better every day. And if you can do that, you'll be successful.
Absolutely wonderful. And how do you market your business at the moment?
Right, so that's a great question. Right now, my business is marketed purely through networking, which sort of I was laughing about some of your previous podcasts because I was listening to them and reading through them. The business I do right now is very community-based.
Right.
So I'm out and about. I never meet someone without people. I mean, everyone in my community knows what I do. And so I never miss an opportunity to make sure that when I introduce myself with what I do. And that's pretty much it. Everyone knows if they need a financial advisor or not. Most of the time, I am referred to other people from other people. So in the last couple of weeks, I've on a regular basis, it's more of the idea that this person sends this person to come see you. And so right now, from a marketing standpoint, I am ramping up my online presence of marketing, which sounds pretty funny to do in 2018. Where have you been sleeping under a rock? But I do think that my social media presence and the likes of that, from a marketing standpoint, will probably be more for communication, continual communication with my clients and prospects. But from a marketing standpoint, most of what I do right now is word of mouth. It is literally talking to people, and I think we'll get into this a little bit probably in our next meeting. But it's all about developing trust, and that trust is not done, in my opinion, through a marketing slogan. It's done through plain and simple shake hands and have a real conversation, which people don't know how to do so well today. But that's really my marketing plan right now. It's really just continuing to be out there and do what I do, represent myself and the business that we do well in a world that is a pretty crazy world out there.
Absolutely. Well, Randy, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge around the myth and misconceptions around financial planning and investing. Now, we never like to finish without giving people an opportunity to know where they can find you should they want to work with you in future. So where can people find you?
Yeah, so the best place to find me is to send me an email or give me a call. You can also, we have, so the best is Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, .Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, at ihtwm.com. And you can also reach us here in the United States at 847-929-5359.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And people can find you as well on your social media. On LinkedIn, you just type in Randy Cohen and you'll be able to be in touch with Randy. Alternatively, just click the link below this recording. You'll be taken straight to Randy's website where you can find all these details. Now, if you joined us right in the middle of our conversation, we are going to have a second part of this show where Randy is going to help you as a business owner on what is it that you need to look out for if you're going to be working with a financial advisor, and how can you be best prepared to work with financial advisor, because you need one of those people. You need Randy in your business if you're going to have a lasting impact on what you're trying to do as a business owner. So again, thank you so much for joining us, Randy, on this show today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Incredible, and wish you all the best, in your next endeavor. I know you've got a long day ahead of you today. And to you, if you're listening, check out many of the products that we have here, and the team will be very delighted to help you. With that said, go make it happen. Write down that tip which you've learned today and see if you can implement it in your business. With that said, have a great day, everyone, and I will speak with you again very, very soon. And goodbye.
Thank you for listening to UKAI Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.ukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.